a tiny fraction of the cost. Once completed, these new 30 to 40,000 ton plus vessels will be the flagships of the American naval fleet, and there has never been anything built like them. And I just want to, be very clear that we're building them here. We're working with others. We're building them here. We have great Navy yards. We'll be negotiating with some of the companies that are running those yards, taking over the yards. We used to build a ship a day during World War II. Now we don't do ships very much anymore. We do military ships. We do submarines. By the way, we're 15 to 20 years advanced in our submarines over anybody else. That was one of the things that I did in my first term. We make the best submarines by far in the world. We're at least 15 years advanced ahead of anybody else in submarine development. Most powerful, it's right, the most powerful weapon anywhere in the world, undetectable. So the battleships are going to be armed just in terms of guns and missiles at the highest level. They'll also have hypersonic weapons, many hypersonic weapons, state-of-the-art electric rail guns, and even the high-powered lasers that you've been starting to read about. We have lasers where you aim the laser at a target, it just wipes it out. We're going to have, they'll be the most sophisticated lasers in the world, and the most sophisticated laser in the world will be on the battleships that we're building. They'll also carry the nuclear arms, sea-launched cruise missiles currently under development, which will be instituted pretty quickly, but they're under development, and they've proven to be extremely lethal. The U.S. Navy will lead the design of these ships along with me, because I'm a very aesthetic person, alongside our partners in American industry. And we're going to have Pete Hegseth and Marco and a lot of very talented people involved, but a lot of it's already been done. We've been doing this for months. The construction will create thousands of American jobs. We're going to have jobs be created. I mean, already we have factories being built unrelated to this, although AI will be a big factor when it comes to these ships. They'll be very AI controlled. Today's announcement is yet another step in our mission to make the United States Navy stronger than ever before. Again, when you talk about 100 times the power of these massive ships that we had years ago, pretty amazing. And next week, I'm going to meet with the defense prime contractors. I'm going to meet with them here, Florida. And we're going to be talking about production schedules because they're too slow. We have many countries, allies, that are wanting to buy. We make the greatest equipment in the world by far. Nobody's even close, but they don't produce them fast enough. So we're going to be meeting with them to talk about the production schedules. We're going to have strong production schedules. And the only way they're going to be able to do that is to build new plants. Even with the F-35, we have many people want the F-35 fighter jet, and it takes too long to deliver them to allies or to ourselves. Too long. The only way they're going to be able to deliver them is if they build new plants. They don't want to build new plants because that's expensive. So we're going to be discussing production schedules. We're going to be discussing CapEx spending. We'll be discussing the pay to executives where they're making $45 and $50 million a year and not being able to build quickly. They're going to make that kind of money. They have to build quickly. Again, we make the best equipment in the world, but they don't make them fast enough. And we're going to be also discussing dividends. We want the dividends to go into the creation of production facilities. So we'll be talking about all CapEx, dividends, and the pay. We're also going to be talking about buybacks. They spend so much money on buybacks. They want to buy back their stock. I don't want them to buy back their stock. I want them to put the money in plant and equipment so they can build these planes fast, rapidly, like immediately. I mean, I have sold more planes than any president by far, times probably 20. So every time I go someplace, I sell 100 planes. That includes commercial planes, Boeings, et cetera, but it also includes fighter jets. And I'm always having to say 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, helicopters, Apache helicopters, many years. India bought them. They want to get them. They don't want to wait a long time. So we don't want to have executives making $50 million a year, issuing big dividends to everybody, and also doing buybacks. And then they say, well, we don't have the money to build a plant. They got to build plants. Plants to make F-35s, plants to make helicopters, plants to make the F-47 new jet. And that's it. And that's what I'm going to be talking to them about. They're going to start spending money on building airplanes and ships and the things that we need, not in 10 years and 15 years. We need them now. And we're strong about it. Last week, the Navy announced a brand new class of frigate, and they're going to be working with the South Korean company. Hanwha, a good company, recently agreed to invest $5 billion in Philadelphia Naval Shipyard. We're opening up the Philadelphia Shipyard, once a great yard. Now it was a long time ago decommissioned, but now it's reopening. Working with the Navy and working with private companies. The record-setting defense bill I signed last week authorized $26 billion to build new ships, including destroyers and various others. We already have a lot of submarines, as you know, under construction. We're building a lot of submarines. I tell you, to be exact, we have right now 15 submarines under construction or ready to start. And we have, again, the greatest submarine in the world with our technology, like they talk about chips. Well, I would say submarines are a bigger deal than chips. We're at least 15 years ahead of any other competitor. China, Russia, nobody can come close. We're also building right now 3 large aircraft carriers in addition to the ones we have. And we have, actually, interestingly, we have a lot of submarines. How many submarines do we have now altogether, approximately? Huh? What? We have over 30. But these are the super-duper subs, and there's nothing like them. So we're going to be doing from 12 to 15 brand new submarines. We have a couple of other things going on. We'll be building other elements of Navy. We'll be fixing up headquarters. We'll be fixing up places for our great sailors to live. And we're going to be working very hard with companies, but we're also going to be penalizing companies that aren't doing a good job. For instance, when they built the Ford, Gerald Ford, the cost overruns were ridiculous. That was done in Norfolk, Virginia. We're going to be talking about that with that company. The cost overruns were out of control. In World War II, the United States built upwards of 4 ships per day. Can you believe it? 4 ships a day, on average. And now there weren't all big warships, but there were ships, freighters, tankers. And it's a tragedy that we allowed this incredible capability to just go astray. We don't do that much anymore. We do build our warships, but that's about it. But that's a lot. We're going to restore America as a major shipbuilding power. We're going to ensure the USA is the most powerful fleet anywhere in the world. And long into the future, with battleships helping lead the way, and the submarines that, again, nobody competes with us on submarines. So I just want to thank everybody, and I'd like to ask Secretary Hegseth to say a few words, followed by the Secretary, but if you would, Secretary of the Navy. But Pete's doing a fantastic job. By the way, we have drugs are down 96.2% coming into the United States. 92.6 by sea. And soon we'll be starting the same program on land. The land is much easier. But every one of those boats that we knocked out saved 25,000 lives. So we saved 25,000 lives every time we knock out one of those boats with the drugs pouring in. And you just have to see it. And people say, oh, gee, do you think it was really drugs? Well, just take a look. Bags all over the place. That's not fishing equipment. There's no fishing rods on those boats. They move fast. When you see a boat with 4 engines or 5 engines on, going 40, 50 miles an hour, well, they get hit. We save 25,000 lives every single time we knock out a boat. And it's over 96% stopped by sea. We're trying to figure out who the other 4% are, frankly. And we're going to have the same success, but even quicker, because it's much easier on land. If they want to come by land, they're going to end up having a big problem. They're going to get blown to pieces, because we don't want our people poisoned. 300,000 people died. Probably last year, 300,000. A lot of people say it was 200. Somebody said last night, it was only 175,000 people. That's like 3 stadiums, big football stadiums filled up with people died. But I think the real number is 300,000. We're not going to have that anymore. So we're doing a great job, and we enjoy doing it. Our border is secure. Our country is strong. Trillions of dollars is coming into our country from other countries and companies. They're building factories and plants, including auto plants, all over the United States of America. Without tariffs, they wouldn't be doing anything, although they were very happy with the November 5th election. But it's only because they want to avoid paying tariffs that they're all coming in. And again, the biggest number was $3 trillion in history. It was China many years ago. Now it's $18 trillion, and that's just in 10 months. We think we could hit $20 trillion. That's investment in the United States, including plant and equipment. So thank you very much, and I'll ask Pete to say a few words, and then John. And if you have any questions, we'll take them. Thank you.
Well, Mr. President, you're exactly right. There are no fishing poles, no fishermen, and no fishing boats. Just drug dealers and narco-terrorists, and with every strike, saving American lives. No other president is willing to do real deterrence. That's exactly what's happening. It's an honor to be here, Mr. President, Secretary Rubio, to talk about what peace through strength really looks like. You can talk about it, or you can invest in it, and you can build it. And that's exactly what President Trump is doing. At the Department of War, we're restoring the warrior ethos. In fact, the president mentioned the NDAA. We put into law merit-based. We put into law getting rid of DEI and political correctness. That's now part of how our military operates, and you've seen it in record recruiting in the spirit of the Department of War. We're rebuilding the military. President Trump did it once. He's doing again with historic investments today in shipbuilding, and we're reestablishing deterrence, whether that's at the border, whether it's through Golden Dome, what happened with Midnight Hammer and what Iran found out, those drug boats, and of course the Houthis opening up shipping lanes. American strength is back on the world stage. And the announcement of the Golden Fleet, anchored by new battleships, the biggest and most lethal ever, accomplishes all 3 of those things and marks a generational commitment to American sea power. Across the entire department, we are developing new operational concepts, deploying cutting-edge technologies, and making major investments, including in our Navy. This is happening in all domains, including space, as the president has talked about before anyone else. So it's the highest of domains and the lowest of domains under sea, and especially today in sea power, that always has to be decisive, has been in the history of America, and will continue to be under the leadership of President Trump. We will make sure that anything that flows from our country and with our allies flows freely and uncontested. New and better ships will provide that deterrent today and for generations to come. This new class, these new investments will be the types of things that for decades, for centuries, the American people will look back and thank President Trump for having the vision and the willingness to invest right now in capabilities we need today, tomorrow, and long into the future. So, Mr. President, thank you for this investment, and I'll hand it over now to the Navy Secretary.
Mr. President, Secretary Hegseth, Secretary Rubio, thank you for being here on a very consequential day. From my very first conversation with President Trump about serving as a Secretary of the Navy, he's talked about the great Iowa-class battleship, why America doesn't build ships anymore with that kind of offensive firepower that takes the fight to the enemy. During my time in the job, I've talked extensively with our combatant commanders, like Admiral Paparo and Admiral Cooper, and our CNO, Admiral Cottle. What I've learned is that not only is the president's idea a good one, it's something that Navy desperately needs and now has a formal requirement for. The future Trump-class battleship, USS Defiant, will be the largest, deadliest, and most versatile and best-looking warship anywhere on the world's oceans. I want to thank the president for his vision to make this game-changing capability for the United States Navy. The Iowa was designed to go on the attack with the biggest guns, and that's exactly what will define the Trump-class battleships. Offensive firepower from the biggest guns of our era. This ship isn't just to swat the arrows. It is going to reach out and kill the archers. For the first time in generations, we'll have a new leg in America's nuclear deterrence because the Trump-class battleship will carry the nuclear-armed sea-launched cruise missile. Striking dominance isn't all that the Trump-class battleship brings to the fight at sea. It has the size and capacity to serve as a flagship for our fleet commanders so that they can command and control naval forces far out to sea. As shown in the series, and the President mentioned it, Victory at Sea, Admirals Bull Halsey and Raymond Spruance commanded the war in the Pacific from their battleship flagships during World War II. Now this new battleship will command everything from warships to drones and everything in between. We're going to make battle groups great again. This is just one piece of the President's Golden Fleet that we're going to build with the investments he talked about. A new frigate, the right frigate, one our warfighters have told us they need. More amphibious power for our Marines with new capabilities like the medium landing ship. As part of the Navy's high-low mix, we're moving out aggressively on unmanned vessels with funding from the President's One Big Beautiful Bill to bring options to the fight and pull new, non-traditional defense partners into the American shipbuilding ecosystem. And we're making a generational investment in support ships. Logistics wins wars. That kind of shipbuilding is the spark that will ignite the industrial base and help power the commercial shipbuilding the President has called for. Under your leadership, Mr. President, we will have more tonnage and firepower under construction than ever before in our history. Building the President's Golden Fleet means jobs across the United States now. There'll be work for shipyards everywhere, from Philadelphia to San Diego, Maine to Mississippi, from the Great Lakes to the Gulf Coast. And for manufacturers that will build components for this battleship in every state. The President has been clear. We must bring back our American maritime industrial might. He has told me many times that as Secretary of the Navy, it is my job to equip our sailors to win the fight at sea, the finest ships in our history. To conclude, the USS Defiant battleship will inspire awe and reverence for the American flag whenever it pulls into a foreign port. It will be a source of pride for every American when it brings home our brave sailors who will sail defiant, raise their fists, and say, "We are peace through strength." And our adversaries will know when the Trump-class USS Defiant appears on the horizon, American victory at sea is inevitable. Thank you, Mr. President. Now, when a conflict arises, you are going to ask not one, but two questions. Where are the carriers? Where are the battleships? Thank you.
I just want to mention that John Phelan is one of the most successful businessmen in the country, in our country. Been a tremendous success, and he wanted to do this. And for nothing, he's taken probably the largest salary cut in history. But he wanted to do it. He wants to rebuild our Navy, and you needed that kind of a brain to do it properly. So I just wanted to give you a little information on him, which is probably enough. One of the most successful men in the country, and he's that because he understands it, and he understands finance in addition to what we're talking about. Somebody who's doing a fantastic job is Marco Rubio, Secretary of State. And Marco, maybe say a few words, and then we'll answer some questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I don't have much to add. This is a phenomenal presentation. Thank you, Mr. President. This is American industrial power returning. This is the ability, once again, to rebuild, to have industry in the United States. This is generational in the change, not just in terms of applying American war power, increasing our ability to protect the seas. The U.S. Navy is the single biggest source of peace in the world of all of our forces because it gives us a global footprint. But it rebuilds American industrial capacity. The ability to make things again in our country has been critical to what the President's agenda has been all about, and this is a tangible reminder of it. And I know the country's grateful for it, and generations of Americans will be grateful for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. By the way, I think I'd just like to point out that these ships are made of steel, as aluminum. It's a big difference, as you know. Battleships, the great battleships, had 6- and 7-inch steel hulls, and these are going to be likewise made out of very powerful steel. Our steel industry is coming back very strongly, by the way. It's coming back at record numbers, and we're going to be using them for the steel, but as opposed to an aluminum side, which, in all fairness, is not the same. So, John, we're going with all steel, I understand. It's going to be something that people are surprised, more expensive, but not even comparable in terms of the importance and the strength. Yeah, please.
For these first two ships, and do you see them as a counter to China?
We're going to start almost immediately, and we're probably talking about 2.5 years.
And in terms of the mission, do you see it as a counter to China?
It's a counter to everybody. It's not China. We get along great with China. I have a great relationship with President Xi, and not China. It's just everybody. You don't know who comes along, but we just wanted peace through strength. Hopefully, we never have to use them, but there will never be anything built like these. Think of it. Those battleships are incredible. These have 100 times the power. Think of that. I mean, and they were big and they were powerful. You know, I thought about taking some that are in dry dock and changing them. And then when I said that, you know, if we did, it would be about, we could increase, if we doubled them, they'd be at like just a tiny fraction of what one of these was. This is the new technology, which is incredible. So we decided pretty early on not to do that. Yeah, please.
Julio Rosas with Most Peaceful Media. You just referenced the lower amount of illegal drugs that are coming by sea, and you just said that you're going to start that same program on land soon. Are you just referring to Venezuela, or are you referring to other countries in Latin America?
Anywhere drugs are pouring in, anywhere, not just Venezuela. Yes.
Speaking of Venezuela, oil. What are we going to do with the oil that we have?
Going to do with what?
The oil that has been seized. The United States seized 1.9 billion barrels of oil on December 10th.
We're going to keep it. We're keeping it.
Where's it going? Are we going to sell it or put it in the strategic
Maybe
oil
we'll sell
reserve?
it. Maybe we'll keep it. Maybe we'll use it in the strategic reserves. We're keeping it. We're keeping the ships also. Yeah, please.
About Venezuela, sir, have you spoken to American oil companies that have had their assets seized about what a post-Maduro
Yes.
Venezuela would mean for them, of what coming back and restarting
All
operations?
the big ones, yeah. I have. Yeah, please.
Why do you feel like this initiative was neglected for so many years, and does this come amidst the rising tensions between the U.S. and Venezuela?
We're talking about with Venezuela?
Yes.
Well, you had a different kind of a president before me. They didn't mind being ripped off. They didn't mind being robbed. They didn't mind drugs pouring into our country. They didn't mind the jails of Venezuela and Trinidad being emptied into the U.S., where they take over Colorado and other places. I do mind. You had a different kind of a president. I hope people are enjoying it because we've never been respected more than we are now. Yeah, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Were you surprised by the number of photos of Bill Clinton in the Epstein files? And can you commit to their
By
full...
what?
And were you surprised by the number of photos of Bill Clinton in the Epstein files? And can you commit to their full release by the end of the year? Some of the victims were protesting that too many of them were redacted.
I know there are a lot of people that are angry about all of the pictures of other people, you know, but I think it's terrible. Look, I like Bill Clinton. I've always gotten along with Bill Clinton. I've been nice to him. He's been nice to me. We've always gotten along. Respect him. I hate to see photos come out of him, but this is what the Democrats, mostly Democrats, and a couple of bad Republicans are asking for. So they're giving their photos of me, too. Everybody was friendly with this guy, either friendly or not friendly, but he was around. He was all over Palm Beach and other places. The head of Harvard was his best friend, Larry Summers. And Bill Clinton was a friend of his, but everybody was. I actually threw him out of Mar-a-Lago. And as a person that was in Mar-a-Lago, I threw him out. Mar-a-Lago, this is Mar-a-Lago. It's the hottest place I think it's the hottest place in the world, but it's the hottest place in Florida. And everybody would come here. He'd come here. We actually threw him out. But no, I don't like the pictures of Bill Clinton being shown. I don't like the pictures of other people being shown. I think it's a terrible thing. I think Bill Clinton's a big boy. He can handle it. But you probably have pictures being exposed of other people that innocently met Jeffrey Epstein years ago, many years ago, and they're, highly respected bankers and lawyers and others, and they'll end up, because of guys like Massey, who's a real lowlife, whose polls are down to about 9%, by the way, in the great state of Kentucky. If you look at Kentucky, Kentucky is such a great place, but I don't know, they've got a couple of people in there that are very strange in terms of leadership, but Massey's a loser, and he likes it, and that he works with the Democrats. He's just being used by the Democrats, because what this whole thing is with Epstein is a way of trying to deflect from the tremendous success that the Republican Party has. Like, for instance, today we're building the biggest ships in the world, most powerful ships in the world, and they're asking me questions about Jeffrey Epstein. I thought that was finished. I believe they gave over 100,000 pages of documents, and there is tremendous backlash. It's an interesting question, because a lot of people are very angry that pictures are being released of other people that really had nothing to do with Epstein, but they're in a picture with him because he was at a party, and you ruin a reputation of somebody. So a lot of people are very angry that this continues. A lot of Republicans are angry because of the fact that it's just used to deflect against a tremendous success. Look, we have $18 trillion coming into our country. We have, I believe, we're going to have the most successful economy in history. We inherited a mess. Now prices are coming way down. Gasoline is less than $2 in some states, $1.99, $1.97, $1.95 a gallon. $1.95. Think of that. A gallon. Nobody ever thought they'd see that. They don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about Epstein. And the problem is a lot of Democrats are being caught up in the web, like Larry Summers. Larry Summers was the head of Harvard. He's now been forced to resign from every board he's on, and he was thrown off the Harvard board. And he was at Epstein's Island a lot. I wasn't. I never went there, by the way. But fortunately, it's nice. But I never went there. But a lot of people did go there. But instead of talking about the battleships, or instead of talking about most favored nations drugs, we're bringing down drug prices like at a level that has never even been thought of, by thousands. Think of it, by 1,000%, by 1,200, 1,300, 1,400% in some cases. A drug that sells for $10 in London is costing $130 in New York. We're bringing it down to $20, and they're going to go up to 20. So they're going from 10 to 20, which is a doubling. It's a doubling. It's a lot, but it's a doubling. But we're going down to 20. So we're going down, if you can do your own math, but it's 2,000%, 3,000%. It's pretty amazing. And the New York Times had a story about it, a small story way in the back of the paper. It's the single biggest thing to happen with respect to drugs probably in 50 years. It's never been anything like this. In my first term, I was able to get drug prices down 0.25%. It's the first time in 28 years that they went down. 0.25%. I was so proud of myself. Now we're doing them 2,000%, 1,500%, 1,200%. That pill that sold for $130 will now be selling, as an example, for $20. Because the rest of the world took advantage of us. Without tariffs, I could have never done it. I called up the heads of the countries. As an example, France, I spoke to a very good man, President Macron of France. And I said, Emmanuel, you have to raise your drug prices. He said, no, we will not do that. I said, you have to. I said, no, I don't want to do that. Look, you ask me if it go to $10 to $20, you're going to come way down to 20. We don't want to do that. Now, in all fairness, no other president even tried. But if they did try, there was actually a fake story in Stupid USA Today. I didn't even think they make it anymore. I haven't. But I saw a story where Biden was trying to do this. Biden never tried to do it. Biden didn't know he was alive. Never tried to do it. But they're taking it from $10 to $20. So he would say, and the other leader said the same thing. No, we won't do it. I said, no, you're going to do it 100%. He said, nope, we're not doing it. We're not going to double our price. Because, again, if you go from $10 to $20, they're doubling their price. We're coming down, though, from $130 to $20 because we're going to get the lowest drug prices in the world. Whatever the lowest price is called favored nations. We're going to have the lowest price. So I said, no, you're going to. No, I will not do this. Politically, it's unacceptable. I said, Emmanuel, you're going to do it 100%. Please accept it now. Be nice. You're going to do it 100%. No, I will not. I said, yes, you are. He said, why do you keep telling me I am when I'm not? Because if you don't do it, I'm going to put a 25% tariff on everything France sells into the United States of America. And that's approximately 20 times more than I'm asking for with respect to drug prices. He said, I see. I agreed to do it. Every other country said the exact same thing. They all said, nope, I will not do it. I said, all right, on Monday morning, you'll have 25% tariff, everything you sell. In the case of France, it was wine, champagne, cars, everything they sell. It's 25 to 30 times the price of what we're talking at 25%. Every single country agreed. And that was a big problem. The drug companies were difficult, but fine. Because we have a certain control over the drug companies. We had no control over these foreign nations. So every single country has agreed to do this. So we will take that pill price down as an example. Talking about not just pills, we're talking about everything. We'll take it down from $130 a pill down to $20 a pill. And the rest of the world will take it from $10 a pill up to $20. It's the biggest thing ever to happen, and it's covered, barely covered in the New York Times because it's a fake newspaper. Yeah.
On shipbuilding, how does the administration plan to ensure that there's sufficient workforce availability as you're producing these ships?
Could you speak up?
How does the administration plan to ensure there is sufficient workforce availability as you're producing these ships?
We're going to have it. We're going to have tremendous workforce availability. We're also going to have robots helping us. We're going to have a lot of robots helping us because we need it. And because we're going to town, we're building a lot between the AI and the auto plants. So we're going to need robots. We're going to have robots, but that's going to help us. We're going to have tremendous workforce. And in order to operate you're always going to need people. You know, you could have robots, but you're going to have to get somebody to start those robots, and you're going to have to improve the robots. But we're going to have robotic factories plus manpower. So we're going to have enough. We're going to need the help of robots and other forms of, I guess you could say, employment. We're going to be employing a lot of artificial things, but the beauty is we're going to have more jobs than we've ever had. Just so you know, a number came out the other day. We have more jobs right now in the United States. More people are working right now in the United States than at any time in the history of our country. Think of that. Pretty amazing. So we'll have the help of, mechanical help, if you want to call it that. But we'll have tremendous employment. They'll be paid a lot of money. They'll do better than they ever did. Okay? Yeah.
Mr. President, some may have been expecting a different kind of announcement today, hearing your Secretary of War and Secretary of State here. You mentioned strikes on land in Venezuela more than 15 times, even now, just in your recent remarks. Why should Maduro take your threats seriously? And
he can do whatever he wants.
What's your end game?
Maduro?
What's your end game?
No answer. He can do whatever he wants. I mean, we have a massive armada formed, the biggest we've ever had, and by far the biggest we've ever had in South America. He can do whatever he wants. It's all right. Whatever he wants to do. If he wants to do something, if he plays tough, it'll be the last time he's ever able to play tough. But they sent their prisoners into us. They sent people from jails, prisons. They sent people from mental institutions and insane asylums into the United States, just walked right in because Biden had an open border policy. What the Biden administration did to our country can never be forgotten. They took in millions and millions, 25 million people over the course of 4 years. Many of those people were murderers and drug dealers, prisoners, rough prisoners, 11,888 murders. More than half of them killed more than one person. They came into our country. Now, I spoke to Christine Noem today. I spoke to Tom Homan today. He came down to see me, and we had a great meeting. They've done an amazing job. We're getting them out. We're getting them out very fast. But this should have never happened. But Venezuela was Venezuela took advantage of the open borders that Biden created more than any other country. Tren de Aragua, we had gangs all over. Look, I mean, you have a very weak governor in Colorado. Look what happened in Colorado where they would occupy apartment houses. And he didn't want to do anything about it because he was scared. Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead, please.
So in response to the United States taking sanctioned oil from Venezuela, Colombian President Gustavo Petro criticized the United States by saying, well, the Southwest is stolen land and that it should be returned to Latin America. I just wanted to know what your response to that is.
Well, he has to watch because, you know, he's got drug factories. They make cocaine in Colombia. And he's no friend of the United States. He's very bad guy. And he's got to watch his ass because he makes cocaine and they send it into the United States of America from Colombia. We love the Colombian people. I love the Colombian people. They're great people, energetic, smart, great. But their new leader is a troublemaker. And he better watch it. He better close up those cocaine factories. They have at least 3 major cocaine factories. We know where they are. You better close them up fast, yeah. By the way, it's made and sold into the United States. Comes through Mexico.
Thank you, sir. You've named Governor Landry to be new special envoy to Greenland.
Yeah.
How do you, what do you see that role entailing? And is it still your intention that Greenland become part of the U.S.?
He viewed Louisiana, the Louisiana Purchase. He said, I'm governor of Louisiana. And he said, I didn't call him, he called me. He's very proactive. He's a great guy. He's a deal guy. He's a deal maker type guy. And we need it for national protection. We need Greenland for national protection. They have a very small population. And I don't know, they say Denmark, but Denmark has spent no money. They have no military protection. They say that Denmark was there 300 years ago or something with a boat. Well, we were there with boats too, I'm sure. So we'll have to work it all out. But he felt very strongly, we need it for we need Greenland for national security. Not for minerals. We have so many sites for minerals and oil and everything. We have more oil than any other country in the world. We need Greenland for national security. And if you take a look at Greenland, you look up and down the coast, you have Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need it for national security. We have to have it. And he wanted to lead the charge. So we're making him, Marco, today, a special envoy to Greenland. Greenland's a big deal. Yeah.
On Ukraine, can you give an update on the talks that took place this past weekend, and could a trilateral discussion of sort be the next step for Ukrainian, U.S., and Russian delegations?
So the talks in Ukraine, Russia are going along. They lost, as you know, 27,000 soldiers last month, mostly soldiers, some people in Kiev, etc., but mostly soldiers. And the talks are going along. And I say that, you know, there's tremendous hatred between these two leaders, between President Putin, President Zelensky, tremendous hatred. And I hope we can get it done. We are talking. Talks are going okay. But, you know, I've solved 8 wars. And Thailand is starting to shape up. You know, they started with Cambodia. They started up again. But I think, Marco, we have that in pretty good shape to have that stopped. So we stopped 8 wars. And I thought this would be in the middle of the pack, but maybe easy, but in the middle of the pack. But there's a lot of hatred between those two people, and when there's hatred, there's, you know. But we stopped one war 38 years, one war 35 years, one war was going on for 32 years. And we stopped, think of it, we stopped a potential nuclear war between Pakistan and India. And the head of Pakistan, highly respected general, he's a field marshal, and also the Prime Minister of Pakistan said, President Trump saved 10 million lives, maybe more, by getting that war. You know, 8 planes were shot down. That war was starting to rage. And he actually said the other day that President Trump saved 10 million lives, maybe more. So we solved all these wars. The only one I haven't solved yet is Russia, Ukraine.
Deadline with Russia and Ukraine, and have you spoken with Putin or Zelensky or plan to push the deal?
I'll do whatever I have to do. I mean, I'd like to see it stopped. Look, we don't lose any money on that war anymore. You know, Biden gave $350 billion, and who knows what happened to it. We now sell missiles, planes, all of the best military equipment. We sell it to NATO. We got NATO to go from 2% GDP to 5%. Nobody believed that to this day. Nobody's going to write that, but they believed it. And they take that money and they pay it to the United States for weapons. So we sell weapons to NATO. We sell full price. We sell weapons to NATO, and NATO takes those weapons and probably distributes them, but gives a lot of them to Ukraine. So we don't lose any money like we did with Biden. He was spending money like a fool. He was a fool. What he did to our country is so horrible. But he gave $350 billion between cash, gave a lot of cash, $350 between cash and weapons. You remember at the beginning of that whole thing, I gave them javelins. Javelins are the anti-tank busters. And President Obama at the time gave them sheets. I gave them javelins. They gave them sheets. But you know, bottom line, it's time for, I think they're all tired of that war. Everyone's tired of that war. Got to stop. Yeah, please.
The U.S. was in active pursuit of a sanctioned oil tanker yesterday. Are you able to share what became of that tanker? Was the U.S. able to seize
No,
it?
it's moving along, and we'll end up getting it. Yeah, we're actually pursuing it. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Because it came from the wrong location. It came out of Venezuela, and it was sanctioned. Yeah, please.
Ultimate goal in Venezuela to force Maduro from power.
Well, I think it probably would. I can't tell that. That's up to him, what he wants to do. I think it would be smart for him to do that. But again, we're going to find out. Look, Venezuela did terrible things to the United States. They sent hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people into our open border. They sent their criminals. They sent their prisoners. They sent their drug dealers. They sent their mentally insane and incompetent people into our country more than any other country. Others did too. The Congo did. Others did too, and we just let them come right in because we were run by a stupid president. You don't have a stupid president anymore.
Mr. President, have you set up the meeting with the healthcare insurers just yet? And what are you hoping to get? How
I'll
are
be
you hoping
setting
to
it up.
lower
I think
costs?
we're going to meet with the healthcare insurers, the insurance companies. So what I'm asking for in healthcare is very simple. Obamacare is a disaster. I call it the Unaffordable Care Act. Unaffordable as opposed to, it's unaffordable. They're going to have a tremendous increase in premiums, which is Obamacare, which is them, the Democrats' fault. They'll try and blame Republicans. It has nothing to do with us. It's the Democrats' fault. What I want to do is we spend hundreds of billions of dollars a year that go to insurance companies. I want that money to go to the people and let the people buy their own health care. And everybody loves it. It's become our issue. Now, before I do that, I'll meet with the insurance companies, just as I met with the drug companies. As you know, we're meeting with 4 other drug companies, Johnson & Johnson, but they've all agreed. We're meeting with them this week. It's coming up. It'll be a similar meeting. They've all agreed. But nobody would have thought the drug companies were going to do what they did, where they're giving away free drugs. They've been so great, okay? And we have most favored nations. Nobody thought that was possible. I don't think any other president ever tried to get it because they never thought they could. But with respect to the insurance companies, I want to meet. There's essentially 14 of them, 10 big. There's a total of 14 pretty much, pretty big. And I want to meet with them, and I want to say, I want you to cut your rates way down, way down. And maybe if they do that, we'll be able to not cut them out. We'll be able to continue to deal with them, which is probably a little easier process. I think the best process is pay the money directly to the people, let them buy their own health care. But I'm going to meet with them the first week back. I do it now, but they're trying to come up with a schedule. They want to meet badly, they've told me, but they want to come up with a schedule. I said, make it a good schedule. Your rates have to come way down. We're also going to meet with other insurance companies because under Biden, the insurance rates have gone through the roof. Auto insurance, home insurance. I mean, insurance companies are making far more than they're entitled to make. So we're going to be doing that. But just in the meantime, we'll be meeting with the insurance companies in the first week, the first few days back in Washington, because they're trying to come up with a proposal that will satisfy me. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. I hope you're going to enjoy the battleships. They're going to be beautiful. Thank you. And have a great Christmas if I don't speak to you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
We just heard from President Trump along with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and other officials talking about new Trump-class battleships for the U.S. Navy. This is from Fox News. It says President Trump announces the Navy will begin construction on 2 of the largest battleships in the world. And Navy's new class of large surface combatants, the battleship, the most lethal surface combatant ever constructed. That's according to the White House. They also shared this rendering of what one of those ships would look like. Now, President Trump says they're going to start with 2 ships, and it could reach as many as 25. They will be armed with hypersonic weapons and high-powered lasers. They will also carry cruise missiles that are currently under development. The U.S. Navy and President Trump will lead the design of these ships. 30 to 40,000 ton vessels made of steel. President Trump says those ships will be built here in the U.S. starting almost immediately. He estimates that they will take about 2.5 years to complete. That was the big announcement coming from President Trump that we have been waiting on all day. We just brought you that live here on Live Now from Fox. I'm Shauna Kalafi. I'll be taking over here for Mike Page for the next few hours. President Trump also, when talking with reporters after that briefing, he talks about a few different international issues. Now, one of them was the sanctions on Venezuelan oil tankers, as well as the search for a 3rd tanker. So this is some video of one of those tankers that was shared by Secretary Noem earlier this week. Now, the United States Coast Guard seized a 2nd oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela over the weekend. That's the video you're seeing right now. They're currently in pursuit of a 3rd, according to government officials. The moves come as the White House continues to ramp up pressure on Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. Fox's Madeline Rivera has the latest on this.
On Saturday, the U.S. Coast Guard took control of an oil tanker after it reportedly left Venezuela. The White House says it's part of Venezuela's shadow fleet responsible for illegally moving the country's oil around the world. It's the 2nd ship seized in less than 2 weeks.
They're in Maduro's essentially dark money ATM. They're the way he keeps cash flowing into Venezuela under our sanctions.
U.S. forces attempted to board a 3rd tanker over the weekend, but it sailed away and is now under active pursuit, according to U.S. officials. Oil is the main revenue source for Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro's regime, and President Trump has declared a total and complete blockade of all tankers sanctioned by the U.S.
They're using these dollars to funnel and purchase and proliferate drugs around the world that's killing the next generation of Americans. So don't forget what this is about.
The U.S. has been steadily ramping up the pressure campaign on Maduro, who officials accuse of leading a major drug trafficking cartel. The military has targeted alleged drug smuggling boats and has not ruled out the possibility of strikes on the Venezuelan mainland. President Trump says the actions are necessary to combat narco-terrorism, but lawmakers want to know what the end game is.
This president has openly talked about regime change. They're now seizing oil tankers, which has nothing to do with drugs.
I support the idea of standing up to Maduro, and I want him to go. I am all in the camp for regime change.
About 70% of Venezuelan oil is exported on sanctioned ships, and the U.S. has not ruled out more seizures. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
And meanwhile, American negotiators are now talking to both sides of the Ukraine-Russia war. President Trump was also asked about those negotiations during his press conference from Mar-a-Lago just a few minutes ago. He says the negotiations are ongoing, but there's still no indication that a ceasefire could be coming anytime soon. Fox News senior foreign affairs correspondent Greg Palcott has more from London.
Russia is claiming more success on the front lines in Ukraine as the U.S. scrambles to get a ceasefire in place. Over the weekend, American diplomats held talks with both sides. The Russians say things are going well.
The discussions are proceeding constructively.
Special Envoy Steve Witkoff says right now the focus is on timelines and the exact sequencing of the next steps in the peace process. Ukraine confirms progress is being made, but major sticking points still remain.
They are going through each point in detail, and there is constructive engagement with the American side. This is important. They are discussing possible timeframes for specific decisions.
The Russian team is now back in Moscow consulting with Vladimir Putin. Moscow is still insisting on big land concessions from the Ukrainians, including 4 provinces in the east that make up the industrial heart of Ukraine.
We're now down to talking about the Donbass, a particular region. Putin wants the Ukrainians to give up land that they have fought for years, and Zelensky's saying, no, you can't have any land that you haven't already taken.
The renewed diplomatic effort comes as another Russian general was killed in a car bomb, the third assassination of a top military leader in just over a year. NATO allies say the Russian war machine is starting to show signs of fatigue.
They are out of reserves, they have high interest rates and high inflation, and it's not improving.
There is no claim of responsibility for the car bomb. Russia says it's investigating possible connections to Ukraine. In London, Greg Malcott, Fox News.
We do want to get you to some breaking news out of Texas. This is the scene right now. We are hearing of a plane crash and rescue efforts underway. This is near Galveston Bay. Fox 26 in Houston says that, actually this is from the Texas Department of Public Service. They say troopers are at the scene of a plane crash in Galveston County near the Causeway. Troopers are waiting for the arrival of the FAA. Again, this is a live look at the scene there from Fox 26 in Houston. They say multiple agencies are undergoing rescue efforts after a reported plane crash in Galveston Bay. Their sources say that plane went down in Galveston Bay west of the Causeway. And according to the Coast Guard, 6 people are believed to be on the plane. Multiple agencies have been called out to that scene and others have been asked to avoid that area. The source also tells Fox 26 that 3 people at the scene were brought to an ambulance. The Texas DPS is leading the investigation into this crash, and we will bring you any new details that we see coming again from that plane crash near Galveston Bay in Texas. Right now, we're going to step away for a 2-minute break. We'll be right back.
20 men and women have come to Hollywood to become the American Gladiators champions.
It's time to get busy. They say it's not if you win or lose, it's how you play the game. I disagree. It's about winning.
Stingray Stargaze, where starry nights and cosmic vistas shimmer to serene music. Immerse yourself in Stingray Stargaze and experience the wonder.
John Crichton's mission sends him through a wormhole, and now he's teamed up with a group of rebels fighting an intergalactic war. Farscape, streaming in HD and broadcasting throughout the galaxy.
I have an announcement that I'd like to make.
Bring more joy to your holidays. Find Hallmark holiday favorites all season long.
This feels like a date. Why does this feel like a date? Maybe because it is one?
I like to think of it as romantic. More merry.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, one and all.
More festivities.
It's about making an impression.
You gotta make the right impression.
Ta-da!
More Hallmark holiday favorites. Watch all season long.
You can see the crowd. It's incredible.
This Drink Champs Yappy Hour makes some
Is this a prop?
Jay-Z sends this to us directly.
He sent that to you, he ain't send me none.
Can I tell you, Drink Champs is the best name for a podcast ever.
You remember what you called me? You called me Wiz Khalifa.
You guys are so petty, I swear to God.
Welcome back into Live Now from Fox. I'm Shauna Kalafi. In Georgia, officials are searching for 3 inmates who escaped from a jail in DeKalb County this morning, one of whom they describe as extremely dangerous. Now we have Fox 5 Atlanta's Rob DiRienzo. He is live in DeKalb County with the latest on the search for these escaped inmates. Rob.
Hey there, Shauna. Good evening to you. That is right. A very critical search is underway here in DeKalb County, Georgia, to locate these 3 inmates, one of whom, as you mentioned, was charged with murder and rape. A very serious situation, but all things considered, outside of the jail, everything has seemed to be business as usual. But law enforcement is up against the clock to try to track these inmates down.
That passes after their escape decreases the likelihood of them getting caught.
U.S. Marshals have joined the manhunt for 3 inmates who escaped the DeKalb County Jail. Guards say they realized the men were gone during a security check early Monday morning.
It would be inconceivable to think that 3 inmates just walked down this giant road for very long wearing jail clothes and weren't picked up. So I've got some big questions as to what happened in the minutes immediately after the escape.
So far, the sheriff's office has provided few. 24-year-old Stevenson Charles faces a murder and armed robbery charge. Federal agents say he was set to serve a life sentence with a long rap sheet, including the rape of a child on 10. Marshals called him extremely dangerous and vowed he will never find peace. Also wanted 31-year-old Yusuf Minor, who was incarcerated on 2 counts of armed robbery. 25-year-old Naod Yohannes, who was locked up on arson and assault charges.
If 3 can escape, then who knows who else can escape?
There are countless holes in jail windows, including this large one on the top floor, but it's not clear how they got out. Does it make you nervous at all?
Kind of, because I jog around here, so it's concerning. I feel like something might happen to me.
These are 3 gentlemen who are facing very stiff prosecutions and have very little to lose.
Atlanta-based criminal defense attorney Joshua Schiffer says at this moment, in this search, every second counts.
Within 24 hours, you could be across the country or even outside the United States. So a lot of it's going to depend on exactly what pathways were available to these escapees.
I don't think I'll cut my jog short, but I definitely think that I'll carry something on me from now on.
Now, Shauna, the last update we got from DeKalb County Sheriff's deputies was around 4 o'clock, and it wasn't much of an update. They didn't have any indication yet of if these guys are in custody, if they have tracked down the general location they believe them to be. Meanwhile, the U.S. Marshals here in Atlanta, they are imploring anybody who might see these guys out not to mess with them, do not approach them. Just call 911 and get help out there as soon as possible. So still a very active search here tonight, Shauna.
We will definitely continue to follow this. Thank you so much, Rob, for that update. Again, this is the photo of those 3 escaped inmates in DeKalb County, Georgia, as the search continues. Authorities trying to track them down today. We're going to step away for another 2-minute break. We'll be right back.
Oh. That was close.
Oh, hello.
I'm okay.
Aldi just saved the holiday spirit.
I'm okay. Carry on.
Shop Aldi first. Save money and save the holidays. It's an Aldi thing.
I don't just pick players anymore. I pick teams, spreads, and totals too. However you like to play, you can do it on Underdog. New customers get $75 in fantasy bonus entries when you make your first $5 fantasy play.
Who's the master here?
This is your moment in the spotlight, friend.
Rangers don't have to look for trouble. Trouble finds them.
This guy's good, very good.
They're calling him Matador.
I'll keep doing what I do.
And the winner is...
Nicely done.
Pretty good lead.
Oh, yeah. Get your butts in your seats, shut your traps, and buckle up.
I think a partner is exactly what you need.
Is my little brother, Henry.
I actually don't know how to get down.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Shauna Kalafi. This is a live look over Atlanta, Georgia tonight, where a big custody case just came down. This is from Fox 5 Atlanta on X. They say a Georgia father has been awarded sole legal and physical custody of his infant son following what attorneys describe as a landmark legitimation case that unfolded after the child's mother was declared brain dead and then later died. Now, Fox 5's Deidre Dukes has more on this landmark case. That's what lawyers are calling it tonight.
I cherish every moment with my son. I'm so proud of my girl, my baby. I know she'll love to see him.
As Adriana Smith's case captured national attention, her boyfriend Adrian Harden remained in the background, suffering in silence. The pregnant nurse declared brain dead in February, left on life support at an Atlanta hospital for months to allow her fetus to develop, leading to the premature birth of her baby boy Chance in June of 2025 via emergency C-section. Harden is now caring for his son, but only after having to go to court to fight for full legal custody.
Mr. Harden did not have any legal rights.
His attorney says his case shines a glaring light on what she calls Georgia's antiquated law, which denied Harden any claim to his own biological child because the couple wasn't married.
Mr. Harden did not have any legal rights to his biological son, Chance Harden. He had no rights whatsoever, even in a tragic situation where the mother has passed. So while he's worrying about the uncertain future of his medically fragile baby, Mr. Harden is confronted with the fact that legally he could potentially not be able to take his baby home.
Harden going public hopes his story will help bring change.
I just look at him and see his mama. He got a lot of life and a lot of spirit. So I just keep that going.
Again, that father in Georgia has been awarded sole custody of his son, who was born while the mother was declared brain dead. She later died. Again, attorneys are calling this a landmark case. We heard a little bit from those attorneys in that story. We now want to bring you the press conference in full from the attorneys representing the father in this landmark case, is what they're calling it.
On behalf of Mr. Adrian Harden and my entire team, I want to thank everyone for being present. Here with me today, I have Adriana Gonzalez, the firm's managing attorney and the lead attorney handling the Adrian Harden versus Adriana Smith matter. I also have with me Mr. Harden. The tragic story of Adriana Smith and her then unborn baby made international and national news. That news shook the world. The world learned that Adriana Smith was a 30-year-old African-American mother who was a nurse, was 9 weeks pregnant. The world learned that Adriana's boyfriend took her to seek medical treatment at Northside Hospital for severe headaches she was suffering. The world learned that Adriana was only given medication and sent home with her boyfriend. The world learned that Adriana's boyfriend found her the next morning unresponsive and gasping for air. The world learned Adriana's boyfriend ensured she was taken to another hospital, Emory University Hospital, where a CT scan was performed and revealed that she had multiple blood clots in her brain. The world learned that Adriana was declared brain dead on February 19th of this year. The world learned that baby Chance was miraculously born by C-section on June 13th of this year. The world learned that unfortunately, Adriana was removed from life support, and 4 days later, she unfortunately passed away. There was a lot of finger pointing, conspiracy theories, lots of conjecture on this law, that law. One thing we never heard anything about was Adriana's boyfriend, the man who took her to seek medical treatment, the man that found her gasping for air, struggling to survive, the man that ensured she went to another hospital for medical treatment, the man that was by her side, the father of her then unborn baby, her boyfriend, her support system. There was no public display of empathy nor concern for the mental and emotional well-being of the father that was there when Adriana suffered this great loss. It was not until last Friday that the world became aware of who Adrian Hardin is. The tragic story of Adriana Smith and her unborn baby hit the news February of this year. Only one person had the wherewithal and thought to ask, what about the boyfriend that was there with her? What about baby Chance's father? That one person was Tanel Hobbs of the New York Times. She was the only individual to contact our law firm about this case. What's shocking is our court records here in Georgia are public. Anyone could have searched her name and found this case. The public's lack of concern and lack of awareness for Mr. Hardin and what he has experienced, unfortunately and fortunately, allowed him to grieve somewhat in peace. It allowed us to protect him and to protect his interests in peace. The reason why we are here and why this is so important is we want people to reflect on their personal views in reference to unwed fathers, more specifically, unwed African American fathers. I'm not suggesting that the terrible loss of Adriana Smith and the unfortunate circumstance of her baby should have received less attention. What I am suggesting and encouraging each person who hears my voice to consider whether or not he was deserving of more care and empathy, even in his unknown and unnamed status. I also want people to consider the law that we're here to talk about. Mr. Hardin did not have any legal rights to his biological son, Chance Hardin. He had no rights whatsoever, even in a tragic situation where the mother has passed. So while he's worrying about the uncertain future of his medically fragile baby, Mr. Hardin is confronted with the fact that legally he could potentially not be able to take his baby home. Why, you ask? Because Mr. Hardin did not have any legal rights. Here in Georgia, if a father has a child with a woman he is not married to, that father has no legal rights whatsoever. It does not matter if he signed the baby's birth certificate. It doesn't matter if there's a positive DNA test. It doesn't matter if that child bears his last name. Unless he marries the mother or sues her, the father has absolutely no legal rights, even in a tragic situation such as this. Under no circumstance should a grieving father have to sue the deceased mother of his child for basic parental rights? Basic parental rights. When I say basic parental rights, I am speaking of the ability and the authority to have a say parental ways to ability for have a in. When I say basic legal rights, I'm talking about the ability to have parenting time and a full-fledged relationship with your child. These are the hallmarks of our community. In hundreds and thousands of unwed fathers have unreasonable barriers preventing them from having access and a relationship with their children. It is our hope that this unfortunate story involving Adriana and baby Chance, and now Mr. Hardin in this landmark legitimation action, will shed some light on a very, very important legal issue. And I would ask everyone to consider whether it is fair for one father to be treated differently than a father who has secured a $60 marriage license. Should that be the hurdle for men who want to parent their children? Thank you all. I'd like to turn this over to Adriana Gonzalez, our managing attorney.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I don't know how I'm going to follow that up. I am Adriana Gonzalez. I am the managing attorney at Better Law, and I was the lead attorney assigned to Mr. Hardin's case. So I am going to speak to a little bit of the procedural history and just some personal thoughts that I have on the matter. So Mr. Hardin retained our office in July of this year, at the end of July, and we immediately went into filing an emergency petition for legitimation and establishment of sole legal and physical custody on his behalf. That happened in early August. Baby Chance at that time was expected to be released from the NICU in mid-September, and so we diligently followed up with the court, and we were able to secure an emergency hearing in only a matter of a week or so. And that hearing was held on August 27th, and a temporary order was entered granting Mr. Hardin temporary sole legal and physical custody of the child. Now, unfortunately, we were required to perfect service on the grandparents in that matter, and unfortunately, we were not able to find any contact information for them. We did have to retain a private investigator. We were not able to get any information for the maternal grandfather. We were, however, able to get Miss Newkirk served, and so that was completed on October 22nd. And unfortunately, we did not hear from her. Our office did reach out once prior to getting her served, and unfortunately, she indicated that she was represented by an attorney. She declined to provide that information to us when I asked what that attorney's contact information was so that we could reach out directly and perhaps ask that he acknowledge service on her behalf. But again, that information was not provided, and to date, we have not heard from Ms. Newkirk or an attorney on her behalf. But we are proud to announce that under the tragic circumstances that brought Mr. Hardin to our office, that we have been able to secure a final order from the court granting him sole legal and physical custody of baby Chance. And prior to the legal recognition that he received throughout this process, thankfully, Mr. Hardin was already involved in baby Chance's life and his care, but knowing that he has established his legal rights to be involved and be recognized as a legal parent has provided a layer of security and certainty for him, and I am so honored, and our firm is so honored to have been a part of that process for him. As a mother myself, I cannot imagine anything more important than ensuring a child has a safe and loving home and access to parents who are willing and able to care for them and promote their best interests. That's what we as attorneys always want. You know, when you're a parent and an attorney, it hits a little bit differently, and you're coming with a little bit of a different perspective. And I personally walk into every courtroom, not just as a lawyer and wearing my lawyer hat, but as my as a parent. I wear my mother hat when I'm walking in, and that definitely adds a different perspective, and it changes how I approach my cases and how I empathize with my clients and how I see situations, and it undoubtedly affects the way I fight for all of the families that I represent, and I can say that for all of the attorneys at Better Law. And this case, however, it hit home in an exceptionally personal way. At the time that this case came to our office, it felt somewhat like kismet. Like the rest of the world, I was following the story. I was feeling emotional. I was, very moved by the facts of this case that were undoubtedly unique. And I couldn't also help but notice similarities between us, other than our names, right? So we have very similar names. I am a mother to a toddler, and I am currently expecting my second. And under the circumstances and the similarities between us, I couldn't help but put my lawyer hat on and say, wow, that's a terrible situation. Wow, I hope someone helps this man establish his rights. And then Mr. Hardin did come to our office. And as a mother, I put my mother hat on and said, what if that was my child? What if that was my husband? And what if that was my family? And they were navigating that situation? How would I want someone to show up for them? What would I want someone to do for them? And Mr. Hardin, as many clients do, he came to us at a very, very vulnerable time with the law against him, everything on the line, and no clue where to even start or how to help himself. And he had the particularly complicating layer of navigating unimaginable grief with the story displayed for the world to watch. The law should open doors for parents and not slam them closed during a person's most vulnerable time. Mr. Hardin, like all parents and fathers in particular, deserve a level of certainty when it comes to the safety and the well-being of their children. And in this case, we absolutely made sure that need was met. And again, we're so honored to have been a part of Mr. Hardin's story, and we're so happy for baby Chance's recovery and his progress. And we thank you all for your time.
I thank everybody for coming. It's a difficult time for, me and my family. I appreciate everything, all the support. As a man, as a father, I'm simply standing here before y'all and thank y'all for all the support, all the love, all the prayers. I want to thank everybody for, dedicating and all the support, all the help. I really appreciate it. I really don't know too much to say, 'cause it's a lot, but I appreciate it. I appreciate them. I appreciate all my lawyers, all the help. Oh, man. But I appreciate it. And I cherish every moment with my son, and I'm so proud of my girl, my baby. 'Cause I know she'll love to see him. That's all I have to say. I appreciate everybody.
Mr. Hardin, can we ask you just to share for fathers out there who perhaps are facing a similar fight, what this whole ordeal has been like for you? Not only grieving your partner, but then having to fight for your son.
I just want to make sure he got everything he needs. Whatever, for all the men that actually care for their child, that's all we want. Just to make sure he got the best. Make sure he know that I'm there for him. And try to do whatever I can in my power to, be there for him.
How is he doing?
He's getting better. He's getting better. My boy, he's strong. He's a strong boy. He's definitely came a long way, and we got some things to get strong on. But he gonna definitely beat it though. He definitely gonna beat it.
Now you have sole legal custody. to, spending time and feels like to you?
For me, I just take everything day at a time. So I don't really try to look too far in the future. Just right now, just look at him and see his mama. He got a lot of life and a lot of spirit. So just keep that going.
Perhaps one of the attorneys might answer this question. Based on this case, will you all be pursuing or working with any lawmakers to pursue legislation this next session? We're only weeks out.
Thank you so much for that question. We're most certainly hoping that this tragic story and this landmark legitimation case opens up a conversation with legal minds, the community, and our legislators under the Gold Dome. It is our desire for change in our laws, and we're hoping that this case is the catalyst for that. We think that it is very, very, very unfortunate, and it hurts children, it hurts parents, and it hurts communities that these laws put unnecessary legal barriers against unwed fathers. Unfortunately, but not surprisingly, these laws disproportionately affect low-income and minority fathers. Essentially, what we are saying, what our laws dictate, is that an unwed father has to expend resources and time in suing the mother of their children. Is that right? Is that right? And it's our hope that this press conference will cause people to ponder that exact question. So yes, we are absolutely hoping and will be fighting for changes in our laws. Thank you.
We were just listening to a press conference from earlier today out of Georgia where a father was awarded sole custody of a baby who was born to a brain-dead mother. Lawyers in that case calling it a landmark decision. Now, we are also watching some breaking news that's happening right now in Texas. A small plane crash near Galveston Bay, and the Mexican military has confirmed. The Mexican Navy says that this aircraft was operating with an institution that carries out medical support missions. That flight was out of Mexico, and it crashed in Galveston, Texas. Search and rescue protocols are underway, and Fox 26 in Houston is reporting that at least 3 people were taken away in an ambulance, one of those being a child. They say 6 people were on board that plane. Again, search and rescue now underway. We do have a report from a reporter on that scene. That's coming up right after this break. We'll be right back.
He is feeling it. In fact, he's feeling it so much, even his kids are asking, "What's Dad's deal?" What's Dad's deal? He switched to Metro and got holiday savings. We're still offering 4 lines for only $25 a line, and 4 free 5G phones, and no activation fees, and the best network. Get that more for your money feeling, only at Metro.
Subaru is the largest corporate donor to the National Park Foundation, helping to protect our parks for future generations through the Share the Love event.
Get 0% APR on select new Subaru models, and Subaru will share the love.
Hey, what's up? It's 50 Cent. My channel, 50 Cent Action, is where you gotta be.
Dropping buckets. There's a war humans don't know about. This is a whole other level of insane.
You know what you are, what you're made of.
Watch my channel, 50 Cent Action.
Escape into a world of endless beauty, where breathtaking landscapes and awe-inspiring views awaken the senses. Make time for yourself. Tune in and unwind with gentle melodies. Travel to faraway lands with Stingray Nature Escape, your window to the world.
on the highway through hell. The last line of defense is a heavy rescue team ready to tackle any disaster. Because closure is not an option.
Welcome back into Live Now from Fox. We're following breaking news out of Texas. This is a live look at the scene where a small plane crashed near Galveston. According to Fox 26, this was a medical support plane from Mexico that crashed into Galveston Bay. Multiple agencies now there on the scene as search and rescue efforts are underway. Fox 26 says that plane went down in Galveston Bay west of the causeway. Authorities say 8 people were believed to be on board. The Mexican Navy says that plane was conducting a support mission for a foundation that assists child burn patients. Now, one of the Fox 26 reporters, Angie Rodriguez, did have a live report from the scene just a few minutes ago. We want to play out that report. She has the latest on this small plane crash in Texas. Let's listen.
Got a little bit better just about 30 minutes ago, but it seems to be picking up actually more now. So it is actually a lower visibility than we saw just in our 5 o'clock live shot. I do want to let you guys know some details while you take a look at the scene behind me. Still a lot of activity going on here, but we have been able to confirm that the plane was a Mexican Navy plane. The Secretary of Mexico actually put out a statement in regards to this crash. They said it was a medical flight with the foundation Michoacán Mau, which helps children with severe burns be transported to hospitals. We do know this incident happened again here in Galveston. That's according to the statement that the Secretary of the Marine of Mexico put out. We do know in the statement, they continue to say that they activated protocols of search and rescue with local authorities. We do know that to be true as well, because since we've been here on scene, we've seen Galveston County Sheriff's Office, the dive team, bring out several of their boats here as well, the crime scene unit, drone unit, and patrol. Now, we were told originally someone from inside the plane actually called 911. The Coast Guard says the call came in at about 3:20 this afternoon, so just a couple of hours ago. And again, this happening all at the base of the causeway. We're still waiting for Texas DPS to make their way here on the scene. We do know Texas DPS and the FAA are the lead investigators, or the lead agencies of this investigation. Once they get here on scene, we will be bringing you more information on this as well as it continues to unfold. But again, just to update you on those details, 8 people confirmed to have been on that plane in the water. 3 of them were loaded into an ambulance, one of those being a small child. Back to you guys.
From what you can tell, is the search still going on for parts of this plane, obviously in Galveston Bay at the moment?
Yeah, so I did speak with 2 officers here with the Galveston County Sheriff's Office. They're still blocking off this area right behind me at the base of the causeway. So it appears there's still some type of investigation that they are continuing, whether they're looking for a plane or people, we're not really sure. We also aren't sure of the extent of those injuries. They weren't able to tell us what really is going on because they're waiting as well for Texas DPS to get here on scene to be able to officially break down some of those details.
Yeah, Angie, the FAA also will have to do an investigation. It's still a developing story, so if you learn any new information, we will certainly check back with you at fox26houston.com for the latest.
And this is a live look at that scene right now. Again, as you just heard from the reporter, search and rescue efforts are underway. And this is the post on X from the Mexico Navy. This is translated from Spanish. They say the Navy of Mexico reports that an aircraft from this institution, which was conducting a medical support mission in coordination with the Michoacán Mau Foundation, experienced an incident during its approach in the vicinity of Galveston, Texas. Search and rescue protocols were immediately activated in coordination with local authorities. The event is ongoing and protocols are being carried out in coordination with all relevant authorities. And again, this is a live look at the scene right now near Galveston, Texas. Again, we are hearing that this was a medical support plane from Mexico that crashed into Galveston Bay, working for a foundation that helps child burn victims. We heard from that reporter. 8 people were reported on that plane. At least 3 of them have been taken away in an ambulance, including a child. We will continue to stay on top of this breaking news and bring you any updates here on Live Now from Fox. Let's step away for a 2-minute break. We'll be right back.
Step inside Stingray Cozy Cafe, where inviting coffee house scenes meet down-tempo lo-fi beats, creating the perfect backdrop for inspiration, focus, and creativity. Tune in to Stingray Cozy Cafe and savor the vibes.
Say I do to Bridezilla's WeTV.
I freaking love it. It's about me.
The one channel where it's their day.
This is my day.
My day. It's my day!
All day.
Oh, you have jokes?
How dare you! Oh, come on now! You've got to be kidding me!
Because these brides are just one meltdown away from the perfect wedding.
There's a rip in my dress! I feel like I'm falling apart. We're done here.
Bridezilla's WeTV.
Feel the rush with Stingray Free Riding. Your dose of surf, sky, and mountain vibes. With music to match the mood. Let the rhythm of the outdoors take you along for the ride. Tune in to Stingray Free Riding and join the adventure.
You've had taste made in the palm of your hand. Now we're in your home, where the struggle becomes your victory.
It's pretty freaking delicious.
Now we're everywhere you need to be, where taste is made. Taste Made.
Restore your Zen with Zen Life. With meditation, soothing sounds, and easy listening music. Zen Life by Stingray is your daily wellness.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. We continue to follow breaking news out of Galveston, Texas. This is a live look at the scene there where a small plane crashed this afternoon. The Mexican Navy has confirmed that this was a medical support plane from Mexico that crashed near Galveston Bay near the causeway there. We just heard a report from Fox 26 Houston. That reporter on scene says there were 8 people on board that plane, according to authorities. He said at least 3 of them have been taken away in an ambulance, including a small child. And this medical support plane was working with a foundation that helps child burn victims. We will continue to stay on top of this story for you, and we will bring you any developments that come from it. Now, meanwhile, in Hollywood, we have an update on the bidding war for Warner Brothers that is heating up. Fox business correspondent Madison Allworth has the latest on this bidding.
The hostile takeover fight of Warner Brothers is getting even more heated, with Paramount Skydance amending its bid. Oracle co-founder Larry Ellison making a personal guarantee of more than $40 billion towards Paramount's $108 billion all-cash offer for Warner Brothers Discovery.
This is exactly the kind of move that Larry Ellison is known for.
Paramount is led by Larry's son, Chairman and CEO David Ellison. It also upped its breakup fee to match Netflix's $5.8 billion figure, payable to Warner if its deal does not clear regulatory review. Meanwhile, Netflix refinanced part of a $59 billion bridge loan, bolstering the financial package underpinning its bid for Warner. Earlier this month, Warner agreed to sell its studio and streaming assets to Netflix in a deal valued at roughly $83 billion. Paramount wants to buy all of Warner, including its portfolio of TV networks, saying its deal is superior. The Ellisons are friendly with President Trump, who's made it clear he wants new ownership for CNN. Some say Larry Ellison may not have movies on his mind.
It makes me think that maybe he's thinking about the IP property. Maybe he's thinking about spinning off the content. Maybe he's thinking about licensing, but I can almost guarantee you he's not thinking about it as a traditional film company.
Netflix says its offer for Warner's assets would preserve jobs as layoffs mount across the entertainment industry. In New York, I'm Madison Allworth, Fox Business.
We want to take you back out to the scene of that breaking news we're following. This is in Galveston, Texas, where a medical support plane crashed near the causeway near Galveston Bay there. It's reported that 8 people were on that plane. The reporter on scene just told us at least 3 of them have been taken away in ambulances, including a small child. That's according to the Fox 26 reporter there at the scene. We will continue to monitor that breaking news and bring you any updates. Let's take another 2-minute break. We'll be right back.
He is feeling it. In fact, he's feeling it so much, even his kids are asking, "What's Dad's deal?" What's Dad's deal? He switched to Metro and got holiday savings. We're still offering 4 lines for only $25 a line. And 4 free 5G phones. And no activation fees. And the best network. Get that more for your money feeling. Only at Metro.
At the Festive HQ, we're on a merry mission. Ooh. We've got enough crafts to keep you busy into the new year. I'm in crafting heaven. For the final touch.
Oh, that's good.
We've got every part of your festive season covered.
There's no place like BBC Home and Garden's Holiday Marathon.
Well, here he is, Pink Panther, the rink-eating panther, and it's as plain as your nose that he's the one and only, truly original Panther Pink from head to toe.
$1 million!
Open the cage!
These are big, pressing decisions. Deal or no deal.
Permission to take a team through the Stargate, sir?
So you're talking.
Well, I'm convinced.
Indeed.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm Shauna Kalafi. In Texas today, a holiday party was held for juveniles living at the Harris County Detention Center. Let's go to that event from this afternoon.
Welcome to our 5th, 6th, I don't know which annual it is, our annual Juvenile Justice Center holiday party for both kids and staff. And as always, we do this, and first of all, I can make 3 points. One is that we do this because these are kids who are here because they've been accused of serious things or because they've been convicted of serious crimes. But even as children, we believe that they are deserving of a second chance, and we want our children who are here to be rehabilitated, to have a chance that maybe they didn't have before, to make something better of themselves and to try to do that. And we're doing this to remind them that there are people here who care about you and that we want you to do better. Second is to thank the staff here, to thank them for all their hard work. And if you have paid any attention to juvenile justice issues in Harris County and Texas, you know that Harris County juvenile system is one of the best in the whole country. And they have taken great pains to work towards better solutions every single day. And if you look at the metrics and look at the numbers, you will see that. You should be proud of them. And this is our way of thanking the staff and thanking the administration here who have done just outstanding work to do better for these kids and for our whole community. But also, third, this is my chance to talk about the idea that if someone is just talking about crime and public safety only during election season, that they're not serious people. That if we want to work on public safety, if we want to work on crime, if we want to make our community better and safer, that takes daily effort. That takes constant attention. But that also means that we work on things that are not about what happens after a crime has occurred. We also work on things that prevent crime. Because if we only worry about what happens after crime has occurred, after the arrest, after the conviction, we failed half the test. And what we're trying to do today is encourage everyone to remember public safety, juveniles, everything involved. This is a team effort. This is a community effort. We need everyone to be a part of this. We need our public policy makers, we need our community members, we need our organization to all have a role in helping these kids. And by helping these kids, we make our city safer. So thank you so much. And next, we're going to have Henry Gonzalez, Executive Director of the Harris County Juvenile Probation Department.
Thank you, Representative. Hi, I'm Henry Gonzalez, Executive Director of the Harris County Juvenile Probation Department. I'd like to begin by thanking everyone for being here, and particularly our partners, our stakeholders in the juvenile justice system. Without them, we couldn't have achieved our reform efforts in Harris County. Representative Wu mentioned that we have really changed the way we do juvenile justice in Harris County. And public safety has always been in the forefront with that. We do believe in accountability. We do believe that everyone should be held accountable for their actions. Part of accountability for juveniles is making sure that they are able to change the direction to make better decisions. But we all know that to do that, they need to be given the tools and the resources to be able to do that. And that begins with people who believe in them, people who care. And that's who we have here today. Without these individuals, without these organizations, these children see things that their situation is being hopeless. Today, we give them those opportunities. That's what our juvenile justice system is about. And today, we give them the opportunity to be able to celebrate the holidays like everyone else can. So for everyone here today, thank you for being here. And I will pass it on now to Charles Rotrammel, Revision.
Hi, I'm Charles Rotrammel. I'm the CEO of Houston Revision. We're a nonprofit that partners with the Harris County Juvenile Probation Department, not just today, but every day. We have staff members and volunteers that come into the Juvenile Detention Center and work alongside juvenile probation officers and probation staff, not only here, but in all the juvenile facilities and also out in the community with kids who are both on field probation and also who are in a diversion program. What these young people in here need, in the juvenile justice system need, is a caring adult. They need a relationship with a caring adult. Not all of them have that. Some do, some don't. And what Revision tries to provide is that caring adult to mentor those young people, to support them, and to encourage them to make changes in their lives. Our entire staff is here today. We also have a number of our volunteers here today to help with this holiday celebration. And we encourage you out in the community to volunteer, to become a mentor, to become a support person for one of these young people. Like Representative Wu said, this is not just theoretical, this is actual. Right, these are young people who need support, and they are fully capable of changing their lives and moving into a positive adulthood. But they need your support. They need our support. And so, if you're interested, if you would like to learn more, please go to our website, HoustonRevision.org, and consider volunteering to support the young people here. Not just at Christmas time, but throughout the year.
Welcome to our...
All right, we just heard from officials in Texas holding a holiday party for juveniles at the Harris County Detention Center. Now, we are also following some breaking news out of Galveston, Texas. This is from Fox 26 in Houston. They say multiple agencies are undergoing rescue efforts after a reported plane crash in Galveston Bay. Now, we do have Fox 26, which is live on the scene right now. Let's take you to their show. They have a reporter reporting live right now.
Last hour and a half that we've been here on scene, Galveston County has been here on scene telling us some updates as to what's going on. We have been able to confirm that that plane was a Mexican Navy plane that had about 8 people on board. It was a medical flight from La Fundación Micho y Mao, which is a foundation that helps transport child burn victims. We do want you to take a look at this video on your screen. It shows the scene a little bit earlier in the day where you can see a little bit of that low visibility that could have been a factor to this plane crash that hasn't been confirmed yet, but that is what it seems to be. We are learning, again, new information. We're waiting for Texas DPS to get here on scene, as DPS and the FAA are the lead agencies that are investigating this incident. This is the absolute latest confirmation that we have. So again, we do know about 8 people were on board. This was a medical flight from a Mexican Navy plane, and several people are dead as a result. We'll bring you the latest on Fox Local, both on air and on the line. In Galveston, Angela Rodriguez, Fox 26 News.
Angie, before you go, can you just talk a little bit about the scene? You've been there for a couple of hours now. How has that scene changed at all as day has now turned into night, which I would imagine make those search efforts very difficult?
Yeah, I can imagine too, because we have seen a couple more vehicles pull up. We actually saw, and I want you to take a look behind me. This bus here actually is supposed to be one of the ones that helps firefighters. The temperatures drop just a little bit because of that low visibility. That's part of the reason as to why these temperatures are dropping here in this area. It appears we're seeing a stretcher being brought out with towels from EMS, so it looks like they're probably going to be staying here for a while when it comes to officers and officials on scene. A lot of sirens still on. We do know that this end of the causeway is actually closed off to the public. We're being told by officials to let the public know not to be in this area, but the exit here is still completely open for those that live in this area. I do want to let you know that the exit here off of Broadway Street is still open. If you live in this area or maybe worked in this area or on your way home, that exit is still open. But again, the end of the causeway is really what is being closed off as a part of the investigation. Once we learn more information, like I said, we're waiting for Texas DPS to get here on scene. They're going to be able to kind of update us when it comes to the injuries of those who remained out of the 8 people about that we are learning were on that plane, aside from the 3 that were taken in an ambulance and the several that we know died. So a lot of information still coming out of the investigation.
All right, Angie, really quickly, just to confirm, the search efforts continue right now, right? There are still people, search and rescue efforts, the folks on the boats, and they're out there in the water trying to make some recoveries here.
It looks like it right now. We've seen a lot of dive teams still out here. We actually saw a couple make their way from the causeway from the end over here. We saw them pull out, but it seems as though they come out and they come back in. So it looks like they're just trying to maybe switch crews. As you said, it went from day to night, so that could also be affecting this investigation. But as of right now, it still seems that they are searching this area.
All right, Angie, stay active, stay asking questions. We'll get back to you. If you got any new information, let us know. We'll put you right back on the air. All right.
All right, we just heard from a reporter there on the scene in Galveston, Texas. She says 3 people are dead after that small plane crash. This was a medical plane crashing in Galveston Bay near the causeway. At least 3 people killed. 8 people were reportedly on board that plane. And this is a post from the Mexican Navy. They say that aircraft was working with an institution conducting a medical support mission with a foundation that helps child burn victims. Search and rescue protocols were immediately activated in coordination with local authorities. The event is ongoing and protocols are being carried out in coordination with all relevant authorities. Again, according to Fox 26 in Houston, this plane went down in Galveston Bay west of the causeway. Authorities saying 8 people were believed to be on the plane and 3 confirmed deaths as of this hour, as search and rescue efforts are still underway, according to the reporter there on scene. Multiple agencies assisting with those efforts, and we will continue to stay on top of that breaking news. Again, at least 3 people killed in that medical plane crash near Galveston, Texas. Now, this is actually near the site of where the U.S. is pursuing a Venezuelan oil tanker. That's also near Galveston. So this is from Houston Public Media on X. They say an oil tanker seized by the United States near Venezuela earlier this month is now close to the Gulf Coast near Galveston. What happens next with the tanker and its oil remains to be seen. Madeline Rivera has the latest on the pursuits of these Venezuelan oil tankers. Let's listen to her report.
Before dawn on Saturday, the U.S. Coast Guard took control of an oil tanker after it reportedly left Venezuela. The White House says it's part of Venezuela's shadow fleet responsible for illegally moving the country's oil around the world. It's the second ship seized in less than 2 weeks.
They're in Maduro's essentially dark money ATM. They're the way he keeps cash flowing into Venezuela under our sanctions.
U.S. forces attempted to board a third tanker over the weekend, but it sailed away and is now under active pursuit, according to U.S. officials. Oil is the main revenue source for Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro's regime, and President Trump has declared a total and complete blockade of all tankers sanctioned by the U.S.
They're using these dollars to funnel and purchase and proliferate drugs around the world that's killing the next generation of Americans. So don't forget what this is about.
The U.S. has been steadily ramping up the pressure campaign on Maduro, who officials accuse of leading a major drug trafficking cartel. The military has targeted alleged drug smuggling boats and has not ruled out the possibility of strikes on the Venezuelan mainland. President Trump says the actions are necessary to combat narco-terrorism, but lawmakers want to know what the endgame is.
This president has openly talked about regime change. They're now seizing oil tankers, which has nothing to do with drugs.
I support the idea of standing up to Maduro, and I want him to go. I am all in the camp for regime change.
About 70% of Venezuelan oil is exported on sanctioned ships, and the U.S. has not ruled out more seizures. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
We are going to step away now for a 2-minute break. We'll be back with much more just after this.
In Florida, we don't just live life, we thrive. AvMed's affordable health plans for individuals and families are big on benefits, like $10 copays, 0 deductible, and more. AvMed, affordable plans for living well. Get yours today.
Permission to take a team through the Stargate, sir.
I've never been so happy to see you guys.
Who are you talking? You mentioned something about saving the world.
It's the right thing to do.
Stargate is open. All we have to do is step through. Well, I'm convinced. Indeed.
Watch the Monster Jam channel.
Don't go anywhere.
You're watching Monster Jam. Well, today is the autumn equinox. Summer has slipped away. But in its place, we've got the very best of autumn because you have this lovely, bright, fresh light. And it's above all the time of fruit. Here, look, this way. Nige, here. And ready to turn and squeeze the juice out of this. Well, here's a toast to autumn.
Okay, I'm here.
There's a killer amongst us.
It's so stressful.
Welcome back into Live Now from Fox. I'm Shauna Kalafi. As we're in the holiday spirit, we're also preparing for New Year's Eve celebrations. This is a live look at Philadelphia. They are getting ready for New Year's Eve parties there. They held a press conference earlier today to tell people about their plans for events as well as how they're going to keep people safe during those New Year's Eve celebrations. Let's listen now to that press conference with Philadelphia city officials this afternoon.
Really hard to believe that in just a few days, we're going to turn the page to 2026. A truly monumental event for our city and our nation. It's a moment we've been talking about, planning for, caring for over these past few years, and it is really incredibly exciting for it to finally be here. I am proud to work alongside a dedicated team that has been ensuring Philadelphia is ready for this once-in-a-generation opportunity to come together to celebrate and show the world who we are. Many members of the team are with us here today, and we will be sharing how the city is ringing in the new year with unforgettable events that set the tone for an extraordinary year ahead. Because there is no better place to welcome 2026 than right here in Philadelphia. And now it is my honor to welcome the leader who has guided the vision, and she, along with her team, is bringing it to life. Please join me in welcoming Mayor Sherelle L. Parker.
Thank you, thank you. Before we start anything, give it up for our string band. Yeah. Philly, I hope you are ready, because I am ready to ring in the new year, rocking the bells right here in our great city of Philadelphia. Philadelphia is ready to kick off 2026 and the celebration of America's 250th birthday in a way that only our nation's birthplace can. And now to make sure that everyone can be a part of the moment, we are welcoming the new year with not one, but two spectacular fireworks shows, creating more opportunities for our neighbors, friends, and visitors to celebrate across our amazing city. So let's talk about what's up first. First, it's a major concert on the Parkway featuring LL Cool J. LL Cool J, y'all, rocking the bells. Our very own DJ Jazzy Jeff. Adam Blackstone, who I believe is about to cement some Philadelphia history, and you'll hear about that a little later on. Give Adam a round of applause. And Dorothy, give it up for Dorothy. I'm looking forward to experiencing Dorothy and all of the other performers who will be joining us. Now, for the record, Philly, the show begins at 8 p.m. The doors open at 6 p.m. and it's all free and family friendly. Now, I know it's true because I've heard this about 1,000 times since we've mentioned this out loud. Everyone has said, Philadelphia's never done this before. It's true. Welcome to my world. Okay, but it is because we want the city to feel the excitement and, quite frankly, the potential of 2026 from the very beginning. Now, you're going to hear more about this in moments from a gentleman who I am honored and pleased and very happy who will be producing our show this year, and that is Scott Merkin. Give Scott a huge round of applause. No pressure, Scott, but you should see me in your dreams every night until each show is over. Let me take a few moments here to talk about the big picture. Philadelphia has firmly established itself. I just talked about this outside. I'm calm now, but I was giddy the first time I heard it and I read it. I read it about 3 times in a row. But Philadelphia has firmly established itself as a New Year's celebration destination most recently with our Mummers Parade being named the best holiday parade in the country. In the country, our Mummers Parade. It's a recognition of a tradition that is uniquely Philly and proudly community driven. And then again, just this weekend, more national recognition as well. And just because I thought somebody was going to question us, I had to bring a copy of it so you could see it yourself. The Wall Street Journal put Philadelphia atop its list of 10 places to visit across the nation in 2026. It's right here, Philadelphia, right here. Our city. Sometimes we have to remember who we are. And now, as we stand on the eve of our nation's 250th birthday here in the birthplace of American democracy, we also carry a special responsibility at this moment that I also don't want us to forget. And that's a responsibility to celebrate in ways that not only uplift our city, but that honor our history and bring people together while ensuring that all of these moments are safe, respectful, and welcoming for all. Now is the time for us to not just say, but to show that we truly are one Philly, a united city, and one America, a united nation. And we're gonna kick it all off here in the birthplace. So here's my message as I close. We are going to be the focus of the nation's attention this year. So let's begin it together. So on the Parkway, on the waterfront, in our restaurants, or in our hotels, you can do one, you can do both, or you can do all of them. Philly is ready for you. So I look forward to seeing you all across this city, especially on the Parkway. I will be there immediately after service. Notice I said service. Service comes first for the mayor, don't you all forget that. But after service, I will be on that Parkway with LL Cool J, DJ Jazzy Jeff, Dorothy, and all of the performers as we ring in 2026 together. And I am really excited about this. I want to turn it back over to the lady, and I want us to give her a great deal of appreciation and recognition right now. Because every time we have an event, we get to stand here and we get to talk about it. But she and her team, they cross all of the T's and dot the I's. She's working under the portfolio of our Chief Deputy Mayor, Vanessa Garrett Harley. But Philadelphia, we need to be really grateful for the fact that we have the best city representative and director of special events that we could have anywhere in the country, in Giselle Jones. We love you, Giselle, and we appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Philadelphia is truly the place to celebrate the New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, as the mayor said. And I know many of you are eager to learn more about what is in store for our city's very first New Year's Eve concert and fireworks on the Parkway. To share more details about this exciting event, it is my pleasure to invite the producer behind the big experience, the president and CEO of ESM Production. Please welcome Scott Merkin.
Thank you, Giselle. Thank you, Mayor, for your kind remarks. And as a company that started right here 30 years ago, I am truly honored, as a kid who grew up here in Oxford Circle, truly honored to be tapped to serve and to produce this event. And little bit of history. We've lost count how many events Giselle and I have done together. So there was a great partnership, 30 years worth of events, and we're just excited. So I think the mayor covered it, but I'll just give a little emphasis on it. So We are having the first of its kind, New Year's Eve event on the Oval on the Ben Franklin Parkway. It is free and open to the public. So, headlining the show, not a surprise, the posters everywhere, a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee and Grammy Award-winning hip-hop icon, LL Cool J. And we are going to rock the bells. We are going to rock the bells with LL. The show also features, we got to keep count here, Grammy Award-winning, American Music Award, and NAACP Image Award winner, DJ Jazzy Jeff. Excited for Jazzy. Also appearing and unveiling some new music, Emmy Award-winning and musical director, Adam Blackstone, who's been, if you've watched any television special in the last 10 years, whether it be the Oscars, the Emmys, the Super Bowl, he is the musical director, the man behind the scenes, and he's a Philly guy, and he's going to be here, and we're very excited about that. Right, for Adam? Also, one of my favorites of all time was an innovator named Curtis Mayfield, and Adam is working with the producers of a documentary of the Curtis Mayfield story, and I hope I'm not giving away too much news here, but he's going to unveil a song that's about Philadelphia and play it for us on New Year's Eve. And no evening in Philadelphia, which is also the home of rock and roll, in addition to everything else. We have Dorothy, an amazing hard rock female-led band. She's amazing. And then technician the DJ, one of the world-famous DJs, will be spinning with LL. It's going to be a great evening. Under the stars, we're going to end with fireworks. Let me give you a couple logistics. One, the event is free and open to the public. We got that, right? Free. No tickets needed. Free. But we still have to be orderly and walk through and do all the things we need to do to have a wonderful, orderly event. So the gates are going to open a little bit early, 6 p.m., so folks can get out there and get through and get a really good spot, nice and easy at 6 p.m. because we have 2 whole hours. The concert starts at 8. So when the concert will run from 8 till just before midnight, then we're going to rock the bells and ring in the new year, 2026. We're going to do it Philly style. And that's what I have to report, Madam Mayor. All right, thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Scott. What an exciting evening we have in store. At the conclusion of today's press conference, additional details on the New Year's Eve concert and fireworks on the Parkway will be available online at